is if we look at the medial aspect, you'll notice that this is a corpus callosum. The corpus callosum is a white matter that allows your brain hemispheres to communicate. So it goes down one side, crosses over to the other side. This is the only direct communication between the hemispheres. Immediately inferior to that is the septum pellucidum. The septum pellucidum is important because it is that connective tissue that allows you to enter the lateral ventricles deep inside the rest of your cerebrum. All right, directly inferior to that is the letter I, and this is your fornix, which I'll show you in a second in a better model view. All right, so this is the fornix, and it goes from anterior to posterior, and is part of the brainstem and the thalamus model that I'll show you coming up. Now, as we look a little bit lower here, you notice blood vessels. These blood vessels are part of the network of choroid plexus used by the brain to make cerebrospinal fluid. All right, as we look down here a little bit right here, you'll notice this very vague general area right here. And that vague general area can also be seen on this model, on this side. And you'll notice this area right here is very glossy because it is and it does contain the third ventricle. What makes this area very important, though, is that this area is your hypothalamus, right? And directly inferior to it is your pituitary gland. There are hormones that get released from the hypothalamus that directly goes to the pituitary. Right? The pituitary is your master hormone switch controlled by the hypothalamus. Right? The hypothalamus is not a very distinct area. Now, as we look back right here, you'll see the start of our pineal gland. The pineal gland is going to go back here, and it's going to be the pink little bulb that we're going to see in just a few minutes. Right? As we go back down here, we're going to see this region right here is part of what we call the cerebral aqueduct that allows us to bring fluid formed by the third ventricle down into the last ventricle that we see, right? And the ventricles between the area of the brainstem called the pons and the cerebellum. This open space is an area of the fourth ventricle, and this area is going to be where the actual fluid that we form deep inside actually exits the brain and surrounds the external surface of the brain. This is a cerebellum. The cerebellum contains these white little branch-like white matter that we call the arbor vitae. The arbor vitae then is connected to the brown, gray matter that is found external to it. Now, we will see the vermis of the cerebellum, but we only see it when we put the two ends together.